The Irishman was one of my most anticipated films of all time. It stars Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, and Joe Pesci, and is directed by one of my top 3 favorite directors, Martin Scorsese. And my favorite genre is crime, so I was really excited for this. Robert De Niro is one of my all-time favorite actors. Joe Pesci's performance in Goodfellas is one of my favorite movies, but his performance inside of the film is my second favorite supporting performance ever. And Al Pacino's performance in The Godfather Part 2 is, I think, the best performance ever inside of a crime film. So I was pretty damn excited. Now the film is 3.5 hours long. It officially is 3 hours and 18 minutes, at least when I watched it that's what it was, but this film is totally worth every minute of it. That runtime will scare lots of people away, and for the people who aren't film buffs, they'll have probably no clue what this is, and when they see that they're like, oh no, I'm not watching this, but I think this is an important film. The Irishman is a fantastic film. It's one of the year's best. Everything about it is fantastic. Even though it's 3.5 hours long, there's not a minute wasted here. Every scene is important. Every scene is just so damn good. I can't really pick a favorite. There are moments that I loved, but I don't think that I could pick a favorite scene, which is saying a lot. Now, Martin Scorsese, as I said, is in my top 3 favorite directors of all time, and his direction here is amazing. He's back in his place. He just makes the best crime films ever. The Goodfellas is my favorite, like, mob gangster crime film of all time. Taxi Driver is another one of my top 15 favorite films of all time. And every film I've seen from him, I've seen now 12, none of them have got lower than an A-. Robert De Niro is incredible in this, of course. I mean, he's one of the best actors to ever live, but he still has it. He has to play this character throughout basically his entire life, kind of. Not childhood, but even then, he's just phenomenal. They have this de-aging effect, and that seems to be a very common thing this year with Captain Marvel, It Chapter 2, something else that I can't remember, and I don't know why. Maybe there wasn't, but this one is fantastic. There's not a scene that I was not convinced, whereas in Chapter 2 there are a few times where I was like, eh. But his actual performance is fantastic. He voices over some things, as Scorsese likes to do in his films, and he is just phenomenal. He has so many scenes where he's just sitting down and talking. That goes for the main 3 actors. They just sit down and they talk. And then just the way that they give off their dialogue is fantastic. This film is so well written, too. Al Pacino gets to yell a lot, and when Al Pacino yells, I love it. Do it! He's one of my favorite yellers, I'd say, in films, and he is also amazing in this. He's back. I haven't seen him in a good film recently, I don't think. The last film I can think that he was in was that monstrosity right there, so I was excited to see him again, and it's his first time working with Martin Scorsese. And Joe Pesci, as I said, gives my second favorite supporting performance of all time in Goodfellas, and here he is amazing. He, I think, retired or said he retired. He just wasn't in anything big for a while, and then he came back with power in this. He is so good. There's an incredible scene between Al Pacino and Joe Pesci, and they're in this restaurant that looks a lot like the one from Goodfellas, and that scene was amazing. There are so many just great scenes. I don't want to get into spoilers because it's on Netflix, and a lot of people have Netflix, so I highly recommend it. And the cinematography is beautiful. This is one of the best looking Scorsese films, and I will be doing a ranking, maybe, I think maybe a top 10, something like that, best Scorsese films. I have to rewatch Raging Bull before I do that because, well, that film is just perfect. Keep in mind, I've not seen every Scorsese film, and although it's not in my top 5 or something of his films, this is still a phenomenal film, and I'm so happy that I'm alive in a time where Scorsese can make films with De Niro, Al Pacino, Joe Pesci, have it be a crime film, and it be this good. This film is very violent as, well, there's lots of guns, and it's a Scorsese film, and all the violence is done so well. It's some of the most impressive practical effects, we'll call them, with, you know, the blood. I won't spoil anything, but the blood, it feels so realistic. This whole film feels so realistic. And Jimmy Hoffa was a real person, so that means Scorsese did a fantastic job. And he really did. This is one of my favorites of the year. Although it is not my favorite, it is definitely up there. There are so many subtle scenes, and then there's really loud scenes. Especially involving Al Pacino and a desk. If you've seen the film, you know what I mean. And just the lead performances were fantastic. Even the side performances were also really damn good. And all these scenes were just so good. I don't know how Scorsese still has it. He's just made so many masterpieces, and I love the man, I love the lead actors, and I love this film. I'm gonna give The Irishman an A+. It truly is one of the year's best, and one of the best films of recent years. I highly recommend it. Even though it's just under 3.5 hours, I still would highly recommend it. It is that good. It's that long, but every scene is just so good, and it's well worth your time. Thank you guys for watching. Comment your opinion down below, and what is your Scorsese film? I'll have a list up, probably top 10 in the next few days. I'm not exactly sure when, but I will see you guys next time. Over and out.